You, Shreya. You know, you do all of these conferences, and probably this is my 30th or 31st conference, so you get used to it. But it's always a pleasure to try and do something new, and we're really honored to be here in Bangkok for our inaugural Tourism Hotel Investment Conference. But before we go on, let's just look at who do we have in attendance. I know that some of you are going to be speaking, and I know a lot more people are going to be coming through the doors. So we have around 140 people who would be coming through these doors over the next 2 days. Most of you are from Thailand, as expected. A large number of you are from Singapore, and then, of course, from India. 9 countries in all are represented out here. We have a good mix of male and female. It's good to see that number being at 30%. We'd always welcome it to be higher. We have mostly hotel companies, fair number of consultants. You would expect that because you have a lot of architect, design firms, all kinds of consultants, a food consultant, there are people in the tech space who are here, so you would expect that number to be high. Hotel owners, developers represent 16, 17% of the thing. So just wanted to share with you who the target audience is over the next 2 days or so. So why THINC Innovate, right? And why? Because those of you who have been to some of our other conferences, typically THINC Indonesia or THINC Sri Lanka, we wanted to do something different. I think the time has come for us to focus on new changes, innovation that is required, right? And we wanted to kind of question the status quo because we don't believe that brands are doing enough or brands are being innovative enough. And we think that through these conferences or through THINC Innovate, we can perhaps become that platform for pushing change. So question is, keeps coming up, have hotels innovated enough? And clearly, I don't believe so. And in many ways, I do believe that innovation has stopped at what we call brand standards. And so often as owners or as a consultant, you go to a hotel company and you talk to the development people or you talk to the operations people, and they'll come back and tell you, we can't do that because that's not part of our brand standards. And that's unfortunate because I think the world is moving on. Other industries are moving on beyond what we call brand standards, right? And there's a long way to go for hotels to get there. So let's just talk about brand standards for a minute, right? I can put you into a hotel room blindfolded, and when you go into that room, you may not know the difference whether you're in a Hilton or a Hyatt or a Marriott or a Sheraton or whatever it is, because once you're in the room, you're in the room. There's nothing out there. And it's unfortunate because we've gotten there through what we call is brand standards. Why can't we have hotels that are being built which tell you a story, right? Which when you walk in there, there's something about them that you are kind of taking in. Maybe a good example, that I'm no way promoting any particular brand, right? But I love what Andaz is doing in Singapore or what Andaz is doing in Delhi. Or for that matter, what IHG has started to do with their Indigo brand. And I know tonight you're going to be dining with us at the Indigo on Wireless Road. But these are some of the newer hotels that are at least telling you a story. You may not agree with it, you may not like it, but they're distinct, they're different. And I think that's important and something we need to look at. Hotel banqueting. Again, another area where it's the same old routine, right? You go in there, you know, when you go into a banquet, you know what you're going to get, depending on which country you are in. You know what, you practically know the dishes that they're going to churn out, right? There's nothing innovative about that. You know, people are more into health food, so why would I not maybe get some natural food to eat? And I know Ingo is going to come and speak about wellness and, you know, tell you a little bit about that. So why can't we be a little bit more innovative when it comes to hotel banqueting? Indirect channels, right? And I know Make My Trip is out here, and Booking.com is going to be here, and a couple of these other guys. Now, when you're making a reservation at a hotel and coming and staying at a hotel, the funny part is you'll spend 2 to 3 days in that particular hotel, and you would have spent 5 minutes through that booking channel, whether it's an OTA or whether it's Booking.com or so forth. and yet you don't own the piece of the pie as such. That guest is always going to still go back to that booking.com or Make My Trip or Expedia or wherever they made that booking. So even though you have controlled the entire experience of their stay, they end up going back to those booking channels. And that says something about the hotel industry, that you guys are not being innovative enough. So while you need them, but it's unfortunate that you're not being able to capture that pie on your own. Smarter rooms, right? I think technology has started to play a very big role. Sometimes I think I question that, right? I still want to go into a room which gives me my internet connection, which allows me to use the TV remote that I don't need a PhD degree in, which gives me a master switch next to my bed that I can switch it off and not have to get up and close 5 or 6 lights in the room. Or I left the closet door open and there's a light in there that doesn't go off. So, why can't I have just one switch that takes care of everything? And I really don't need the smartest room, frankly speaking. Social media, again, something that many of us are still learning, right? But how is it that today, when was the last time, if you're an owner out here, did you question the hotel operation team that how well are you doing on social media when it comes to running your restaurants? Why is it that independent restaurants are doing so much better than restaurants and hotel companies? Because in many cases, the independent restaurant is dependent on that social media to get people to come back to your hotel. To come back to that restaurant. And the same thing doesn't happen at the hotel. You know what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The restaurant doesn't fill in, it doesn't fill in. There's no one holding you to fire because of that. So why aren't we questioning? Why aren't we using social media more effectively? Frankly, talent management, that everyone knows it's a problem. There are a lot of countries which are still coming up. I go to Indonesia, I go to Sri Lanka, India, where I come from. Typically, we know we have a talent shortage, yet I don't see us doing enough about it. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of poaching that goes on. Every time a new hotel opens, you'll take people from the neighboring hotels or neighborhood. But we're not doing enough on the talent management part of it. So clearly, we need to start investing in what matters, right? And what matters for us, I think, should be creating distinctive products, right? Create something that would be recognized, that would be helpful. We need to provide remarkable service, which I think is a given. We are all in the hospitality business. And then, of course, we need to be able to customize the solutions to those individuals. And in many ways, as we expect the hotels to do this, I think in many ways, even at Hotelivate, that's what we are trying to do, right? We want to customize the solutions to our clients. We hopefully want to be able to provide you with good service and have products that are useful to all of you. I'm going to put one last slide out here, and then I'm going to walk out of here. We are a new company. Most of you don't know Hotelivate, particularly in this part of the world. We are a full-service 360-degree consulting firm providing asset management, executive search, investment advisory, professional skills development, project execution planning, revenue management, and strategic advisory. I do hope you enjoy the next 2 days, and I look forward to seeing many of you. Thank you so much.